We did this problem correctly. 10 is equal to 10. Number 6, 7 plus m over 3 is equal to negative 5. I don't see any parentheses. I don't need to distribute. There is only one variable on the left side. I don't see any like terms. I don't see any like terms on the right side, so I don't need to combine like terms. M, move the variable. The variable is only in one place, so it does not need to be moved. Addition or subtraction? I do see addition here. Remember, we're moving things away from the variable, so I need to move this positive 7 to the other side by subtracting 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. And if I do it on the other side as well, negative 5 minus 7 is negative 12. And I carry down m divided by 3. Lastly, I take care of multiplication or division. Here we have division, m divided by 3, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So I multiply, by 3. This cancels out and leaves me with 1m, because I have a 3 on top and a 3 on bottom. But if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. Negative 12 times 3 is equal to negative 36. Last, I want to check my answer. 7 plus m, but we know m is negative 36, or we think, divided by 3 is equal to negative 5. I'm going to check this really quick in my calculator. 7 plus negative 36 divided by 3, and I got negative 5, which is exactly what we were supposed to get. Negative 5 is equal to negative 5. Okay, number 7, negative b plus 13 plus 5b is equal to 37. Don't call me after midnight. I don't have any parentheses. I do not need to distribute. Combine like terms. This time, I see b in more than one place. So I have negative b and 5b, or negative 1b and positive 5b. These are on the same side of the equation, so I'm just going to go in order. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4b. And I'm going to carry everything else down, plus 13 and equals 37. I've combined like terms. Now, the variable is only in one place. It's not on both sides of the equation, so I don't need to move the variable. Addition or subtraction, I see here I have plus 13. The opposite is to subtract, because I'm moving things away from the variable. 13 minus 13 is 0, and I do the same on the other side. 4b is equal to 24. Lastly, multiply or divide. I have 4 times b. The opposite of multiplication is division. 4 divided by 4 is 1b, is equal to 24 divided by 4 is 6. To check my answer, I'm going to go back to the very beginning, and anywhere I see b, I am going to put 6 in parentheses. So negative 6 plus 13 plus 5 times 6 and I'm just typing in my calculator exactly how I have it written on my paper. I get positive 37. So 37 equals 37. This is a true statement. We did this problem correctly. Number 8, negative 0.3 times y plus 5 is equal to negative 13. Do not let these decimals scare you. We have a calculator. Don't call me after midnight. D stands for distribute. This is for when I see parentheses, which I do have here. So anything outside the parentheses, I need to multiply to the inside. Negative 0.3 times y is negative 0.3y. Negative 0.3 times 5 is negative 1.5. So minus 1.5, and is equal to negative 13. Combine like terms. I do not see any like terms on the left side, no like terms on the right side, so we don't need to combine. The variable is only on one side of the equation, so we don't need to move the variable. Addition or subtraction. I have minus 1.5. I want to move those numbers away from the variable. The opposite of minus is to subtract. So plus 1.5 on both sides. Negative 0.3y is equal to negative 11.5. You can use your calculator to add those decimals, negative 13 plus 1.5. And lastly, multiply, divide. I have negative 0.3 times y, so the opposite is to divide. Anything divided by itself is 1, so that cancels out. Negative 11.5 divided by negative 0.3. This gives me a really yucky number. I really don't like that, 38.33333, so I'm going to change it to a fraction by pressing Math, enter, enter, and I get 115 over 3. This is kind of a nasty answer, so I really want to make sure I got it right. I'm going to go back and check. By anywhere I see y, I'm going to plug in that answer. I'm going to type it into my calculator, exactly how I have it written on my paper, negative 0.3, parentheses, 115 over 3, plus 5. This gives me negative 13, which matches my other side, so we did this problem correctly. Last two problems. These are a little different. The formula for potential energy is P is equal to mgh, where P is potential energy, m is mass, g is gravity, and h is height. Write an equation to represent g, or in other words, solve for g, get the g by itself. So this problem only has letters, no numbers, so we don't need a calculator. However, we can work this the same way. We want to get the letter G by itself. So I'm still going to think through my steps. Don't call me after midnight. D stands for distribute. I don't see any parentheses. C stands for combine like terms. All these letters are different, no like terms. E stands for move the variable. And so I want to move it if I see G on more than one side. G is our focus area here, because that's what it tells me in the problem. And I only see one G, so I don't need to move the variable. I don't see any addition or subtraction, so the last thing is multiply or divide. Well, this is kind of funny looking with all these letters, but if I think about what it means when I have 2y, that means multiplication. So when I have m, g, and h, that means these are all multiplied together, and the opposite of multiplication is to divide. So I'm going to divide by m and h to make those go away, to cancel them out. But if I do it on one side, I have to do it on the other side. So I'm dividing by m and h. Now we know that this is not something I can put in my calculator. There are no things I can add there that I can do in my head. So all I can do is write it down. P divided by m and h is equal to, all that's left on the right side is g. The g is by itself, so I am done. G is equal to P divided by MH. Number 10 is very similar. An oil company's employee was asked to find the height of a cylindrical tank. Rewrite the formula to represent the height. Now it doesn't tell us here, but I can assume height starts with an H, so I am solving for H, getting the H by itself. So again, don't call me after midnight. There's no distributing, no parentheses. Combine like terms. All these letters are different, no like terms. Move the variable. I only see that variable h in one place, so I don't need to move the variable. Add, subtract. I do not see any plus or minus, so multiply or divide. Now again, these letters, these variables, are all squished up next to each other, so that means they are being multiplied. So to get rid of these things next to the h, the opposite of multiply is to divide. I am dividing by pi r squared to make those cancel out. And then I do it on the other side, divide by pi r squared. On the right side, I am left with h, which is good. That's what I wanted. I wanted to solve for h or get it by itself. On the left side, this is not something I can put in my calculator because I don't know what v is. I don't know what r is. So I just write it down. P divided by pi r squared. This is the end of Notes 1.2.